Hi there. My name is Scott Marker, and this is another episode of Treasure Valley Quick Tips. It's just me, I'm a franchise owner, once a month in networking groups, and I meet a lot of local experts in their fields. I bring them on to kind of share that information with the listeners. And so today I have Kory. Kory, introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
How you doing, Scott?
Doing
Thanks
great.
for having me on
Yeah.
this Memorial Day. We're actually recording on Memorial
I
Day.
know,
So
I know.
yeah,
We're troopers.
just want to say thanks to all the families and friends of all the people who served and ultimately lost
Absolutely.
their lives. So thank you to them. But yeah, thanks for having me on. My name's Kory. I'm a local real estate agent here in the Treasure Valley in Idaho. I run a small team of agents here, and we work with a ton of people moving here. That's kind of our bread and butter, ton of investors. So I've been with NIA for a couple years now and love it. And I'm happy to be here. So thanks for having me on.
Perfect. Yeah, what we're going to do is we talked about it is I'm third generation here in the Treasure Valley, Idaho. And it's just every time I think I've seen it all, I haven't. It's just out of control building. There's building everywhere. We break records all the time. And so kind of we talked about it. We're going to do kind of like a little 4-part series of just kind of the real estate market here, residential real estate market. And that's really where your expertise is at. So
Yeah.
because I'm not in that market, but I'm fascinated by it all the time. And so the first week we're going to talk about the current market conditions here in the valley, and then the second part we're going to do is what to do if you're a buyer or seller. Then the third week, creative financing, so you can still buy a home.
Yeah.
So that one sparks my interest for sure. And then the future outlook. So that's kind of the 4 parts of it. And today, talking about the current market conditions. And one thing I hear about all the time, not hear about, but you hear the rumors about it is it going to crash here like it did back in 2008, 9,
Yeah.
10.
Yeah,
So you're on the inside. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's funny because that's definitely in the news. And I think we've all learned the last few years that all the news agencies love writing headlines that get clicks. So I think
negative sales.
Yeah. So it seems like that's the new thing that's getting everyone to click on it, and it's all the chatter. And it's funny, even just from the last time I was on here with you a few months ago, and the market was crazy, and
Yep.
Everything had multiple offers and selling super quick, and prices were going up like crazy month over month. And just in the last few months, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the interest rates rising. And anyone that kind of knows the market and pays attention, and pays attention to like CNBC and everything, they have seen that interest rates are going up. The stock market's not doing real well. So just in that, it brings a little bit of uncertainty to the housing market. And I think currently, it's a little bit of a breath. I brought some stats for you just to kind of show you a little bit about the market, and or tell you a little bit about the market and what's going on. And I think we've been so accustomed the last few years to houses selling, in the first weekend. We would have our sellers, they put their house on the market. If it didn't sell in the first weekend, they're like, oh man, what's going on? And historically, until the last few years, it would take 30, 60 days to sell a house. And I definitely think we're going back to that, which will, cover in the weeks to come. But currently, just here, so in the Treasure Valley, I mostly work in Ada County and Canyon County, and most of the listeners, if they're local, they definitely know those 2 counties. And we're still at under a month of inventory, right around a month. And they say a healthy market is about 6 months of balance. So that means about the same amount of buyers and sellers are purchasing at the same time, where that's more of a balanced market. So right now we're right about 30 days of inventory. So that means, most of the houses that go for sale, if 1,000 houses go for sale, about 1,000 houses sell every month. That's still a really strong housing market. a really strong seller's market. That's still considered a seller's market where, sellers have the upper hand, meaning there's not a ton of inventory and those prices are going to end up rising. So here I pulled up the stats just for the last 30 days. And so the last 30 days we had 1,541 houses hit the market in Ada and Canyon County together. And we've had 1,544. So they're almost exactly even that have closed in the last 30 days. So when you see that, when it's about a month of inventory, it's about equal. That's still a really strong seller's market. And, the last few years, Idaho has had really good price appreciation. I mean, the houses have gone up, over 20% a year in some areas, over 30% a year, which is crazy. It's great if you own a home. Like all the homeowners are pumped. They're probably making more money in the equity of their home than they are at their job every year. But that's really not a healthy market for it to be going up that fast. So I think we're getting back to a little more balanced market. We're getting back to where, as a buyer, like I had buyers that would do anything for a house, 6 months ago. They would, pay whatever. They were willing to waive all their contingencies just to get in a house. And we're going back to a little bit of a more balanced market where buyers are actually able to negotiate the price, negotiate some repairs, maybe getting some closing costs. So, I think that's really the market that we're coming into right now, is where, buyers and sellers actually have to work together to get a home sold, instead of just sellers making crazy demands and buyers paying for it. So that's kind of what's going on right now. We're still seeing very strong sales month to month, still seeing prices go up. I have here, let me see, it is this last month, year over year in April, was up just under 24% in Ada County. So prices are still climbing, but we do expect that to kind of level out and get to be more of a healthy market.
No, now you were talking about the interest rates.
Mhm.
I don't have a clue. You're in
Sure.
So right now, I know you can't say an average person, but what's but I'm gonna ask what's an average interest rate right now for like a 30-year?
Yeah. So I mean, we're definitely over
And you have decent
5%.
credit, job a long time, not
Sure.
perfect, but just what is there? Again, I don't have a clue where we're at.
Yeah. So that's another reason why a lot of people are kind of concerned about the current market, is looking at the affordability. There's not very many times, if ever, that houses have been more unaffordable for just the common person,
Right.
who's, blue collar, working 9 to 5 job. With the interest rates, that's really putting the monthly cost of a home in a much higher bracket than it was even 6 months ago when interest rates were really low. So right now, for just a standard 30-year, like you're looking over 5%
Okay.
to purchase a home, which is, again, historically pretty good.
My first home was 7.9, and I was
Okay.
excited. My first
Yeah.
house, I was ecstatic, except just like you just mentioned, and then I remembered that, but my house was $80,000.
Yeah.
I built it in Canyon
Yeah.
County, So
Mhm.
it's like now the average home in Canyon County is, I don't know, close to 500, probably
Yeah.
1,000. So that, I mean, 5% interest rate, that makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely makes a difference. I mean, you're looking at hundreds of dollars more for the average home in Canyon County and Ada County. So we'll see what happens. Definitely causing some buyers to be priced out. A lot of those buyers, unfortunately, are kind of in that first time home buyer price range, because at that price range, $500 a month makes a big difference. Someone who's buying a house that's 800 or $1 million, maybe they have a little more disposable income, where everyone needs a place to live, right?
Yeah.
So if they want to buy a house, they might be bummed that they have to pay 500 extra bucks a month, but they can make it happen. So unfortunately, right now, it is really affecting those first time home buyers who are trying to get into the market.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking about and this doesn't make, me happy as an Idahoan, but we're just kind of keeping it real here, right?
Mm.
Is that if I am, or maybe you do, maybe you're here locally and you make, one of the top tiers on the money and stuff.
Sure.
You still buy a house, right? And then you think, okay, I can afford the extra $500 a month. And then sooner or later, the interest rates are going to drop again. I'll just refi.
Yeah.
So at least I'm going to
Yeah.
get into a home rather than a rent. And throw
Yeah.
them, and I don't know, I would say they'll throw the money away, but you know what I mean? But the rent's expensive too.
Yeah. Yeah. The rent's going up here. And that's a good point, that there is going to be, opportunities to refinance in the next 30 years. Most people get a
Yeah.
30-year loan. But again, unfortunately, I think the Fed and the common knowledge is that interest rates are going to continue to rise to get the inflation in check. So, that might be several years down the road. So, but you really kind of just have to weigh your decisions if you're a buyer looking at the interest rates. And I think this is kind of the new normal, higher interest rates for at least several years. And we'll see what happens. But I think we're kind of going to stay above that 5% interest rate for a while. And, once I think a lot of buyers kind of understand, like, hey, this is what it's going to take to buy a house, people are going to start reevaluating and diving in. Everyone needs a place to live. Rent's not getting any cheaper. So unfortunately, it's just kind of the way it is at the moment.
Figure out. Now here again, that's why I brought you on, because you follow all this stuff. I just kind of watch the clips in news, and it's always
Sure.
negative stuff. I try to turn the radio off pretty quick, because I just don't like listen to all that negative stuff going on all the time.
It helps you to turn it off.
Yeah, man, it does it ever. Yeah, it's a whole nother story about how I listen to less news than their whole life. But people are poor. People are coming in here. My question to you is: Are they still coming in? Again, I drive down somewhere, and that I haven't been for a while, and I just can't believe there's apartment buildings everywhere, commercial building everywhere. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's slowing down. So are the people still moving in here at the rate they were before?
Yeah, we're definitely still seeing a lot of people move here. This is kind of, the time of year, spring, summer, where a lot of those folks are moving from out of state who have kids. They want to get here over the summer and get their kids ready to go for the upcoming school year. So that's a very common thing we see with families that we're helping. And so we still have a lot of people moving here. And we joke it's a lot of like political refugees, like people moving to Idaho for the political beliefs here. So we do still see a ton of people moving from out of state to the Idaho area. We get, calls weekly from people out of state where they say, hey, I know so-and-so, they moved to Idaho. We're thinking about moving to Idaho too. So yeah, it's very common. People are still moving here for sure.
Okay. And I'm one of those people. I'm not, I'm one of those people that I welcome all the people moving here. It creates jobs for you, creates jobs for me. Housing values go up for me. And so I'm just like, hey, this is USA. If Idaho, Treasure Valley turns out to get overcrowded and people don't like it, have them moved to another state. So I welcome everybody here, because so far everybody I've met, just common folk, normal people, wouldn't even know that. In fact, they apologize sometimes. Oh, I'm from out of state. I go, hey, don't apologize, man. Welcome. And that's the way most people I talk to is that we don't, we welcome the people moving here.
Yeah, there's always some outliers, but for the most part, everyone here is good people. So
yeah. Well, cool. Well, I think this is pretty good for this time. Like I said, next time we'll be talking about what to do as a buyer and seller, right? Some strategies. Again, because like you said, the new norm. It is. We're not going to go back. I mean, even if it adjusted, and everybody doesn't want to say it's not going to do like it did before. I really don't think. Nobody knows for sure, but I think if it does adjust, it's not going to be. It's going to be just like the interest rates. Everybody's waiting when they were super low. Oh, let's make them go lower, and then they missed it. Right. So it's gonna be like, you don't buy a home for next couple of years. You're gonna. That's fine, but also I just don't think prices are gonna adjust that much that you're gonna. Who knows?
And I didn't even get to all the kind of stats I had, but even like the current inventory is like around 1,000 houses, for the Ada County. And in 2008, 2009, there was over 5,000 houses listed on the market. So we're still at a fraction of
Wow.
kind of where we had been in the past. So inventory is super low. Tons of people are moving here. So,
Yes.
which all bodes well for current market conditions, despite, higher interest rates and different things like that. So
Well,
anyway,
cool.
I appreciate you, Scott.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Kory. And like I said, thanks everybody. And if you want to reach out to Kory, what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, really the best way is just give me a call or shoot me a text, 208-817-3006. We also have groundedrealty.com. So my realty group's Grounded Realty Group. You can Google us. We have a great website for, a lot of people moving here, investors, different things like that. So
That's great.
reach
And
out anytime.
And I highly recommend Kory too, because like I said, anybody I talk to that works with him just says genuine guy, and he knows what he's doing, and he's just him and his team are always looking out for the best for you. So
yeah,
perfect.
well,
And I'll make sure
definitely.
that your contact info is in the show notes too. So hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Thanks, Kory.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Scott.